Hello and welcome to Nithrania YouTube channel. You're watching another episode from the Game in a Nutshell series designed for explaining the board game rules. My name is Branislav Berec, and in this video we're going to learn how to play Merchants of the Dark Road, published by Elf Creek Games. To set the game up, assemble the game board and attach this magnetic wheel to this space. Randomly choose 4 of these 5 buildings and also choose the random side of each building and place them on these building spaces on the game board, again in any order you want. Roll 1 marked die to determine the type of good. Here we have the book, and rotate the market wheel so that the matching good is in the section number 5. Then place 1 marked die in each of these first 5 sections of the market wheel, each die showing the matching type of good of that section, and leave the last section with number 1 empty. Sort these commission tiles by their type, shuffle each stack separately and place them face up in this Queen's Commissions area on the game board. Set up the Ruins of Yin area. Place the Ruins district marker in a bottom left corner of this tablet and place the Ruins die nearby. Separate these event cards by their type. This is the Dark Road deck and the Shortcut deck. Shuffle each deck separately and place them near the travel area of the game board. Place 5 coins at the bottom of this travel area and all the wagon upgrade tiles on the designated space in this area. Shuffle this deck of companion cards, place it face down next to the travel area, and reveal the first 3 cards face up. Then place 1 travel die on a card which is farthest away from the deck. Place the Dark Market district marker in the south space of the Dark Market ring. Separate these hero cards into 2 stacks. These are normal hero cards, these are starting heroes, they have this asterisk on their backside. Shuffle the deck of normal hero cards and place the deck face down in this Ringway Inn area. Then reveal the top 4 hero cards face up. Shuffle the deck of deed cards, place them face down in this area, and then reveal the top 2 cards face up. Then each player chooses a color and takes the wagon of that color, then the matching wagon pawn and the prestige marker, and also the player screen. All the wagon pawns of all players are placed in this space on the game board between the Great Bazaar and the Ringway Inn, and the prestige markers on the starting space of the prestige track. Then each player takes 5 coins from the generous supply and places it behind their player screen. Take 3 knight dice and place them in these 3 locked slots with values 1, 2 and 3. Then roll the 4 remaining knight dice and place them in this reserve area. Then roll the eliminated die and place it in this special reserve area. Then draw 1 deed card from the deed deck, secretly look at that card and place it face down somewhere in front of you. Keep it secret from other players. On a subsequent place you can draw 2 cards and keep 1 and return the other to the bottom of the deed deck. Then take 1 horseshoe and place it in your inventory. Then all players will take the starting good. The first player in the player order takes the good with a current value of 5. Take the good token with the basic side up. The second player in the player order takes the good token from the space with the value 4, together with 1 coin. The third player would take the next token again with the basic side up, and this time with 2 coins. And potentially the fourth player would take this good token with 3 coins. Place your starting good in your storage area and the coins are placed behind your player screen. Take a random starting hero card and place it in one of these slots above your wagon board and take the bonus from the starting hero. Here it's a blazing quartz which is placed in your inventory. Finally, take a random steed card and place it to the right of your wagon board. For the explanation of all the icons in the game, refer to the last page of the rulebook to the icon glossary. The game is played over 13 rounds, which represent 13 weeks of winter. And each round, players take turns, starting with the first player and then continuing in a clockwise direction. On your turn, you perform 4 steps in this particular order. The first step is called the plan. You choose 1 or 2 dice from your player board and plan your actions for the rest of the turn. Then in the second step, based on the chosen die, you will move your wagon along this circle in the city, and you move it number of spaces equal to the value of the chosen die. And then in the third step, you will activate 1 or 2 districts which are adjacent to your wagon. So these are the adjacent districts. And in these 4 spots, you can also activate the building. Step number 4 is just the upkeep phase. The game ends after 13 rounds, and to calculate your final score, count up your coins and your prestige and take the lower value of these 2 values, and then add the victory points from your deed cards, and that's your final score. The player with the highest score wins the game. These steeds are loyal mounts with special abilities, the permanent abilities, which you can use during the entire game. The first step of your turn is the plan step. During the planning, you take 1 die from your reserve and use the die to bump one of the 3 dice in these slots, and that die is bumped into this action pool slot. Make sure you keep the values on those dice. Then after bumping the die, take the bonus action from that locked slot. In this example, you can either take 1 lantern, which is placed in this area on your game board, or you can move the illuminated die, if you have it in your special reserve, into your action pool. This is the slot for the illuminated die. If you would bump a die from this first slot, you can take a basic good. To do that, refer to the value of this new die, in this case it's 0, then refer to this crafting chart, and based on the value of that new die, you take the basic good. When you take the good, it must fit into your storage area. You can always rearrange all the items in that storage area, and if for some reason you would not be able to fit the items in that storage, some of those items must be discarded. And finally, when you bump the die from this third slot into an action pool, you may either take 2 coins or you may rotate the market wheel 1 space clockwise, which changes the values of the goods. As this symbology indicates, anytime during the game, if all these dice in these locked slots have the same value, in this example it's 1, and note that both this full and the hollow star counts as 1, you may change the value of those dice to 1, 2 and 3 in this exact order. You do that before you do the planning, so before you choose and bump a die into an action pool slot. In the last 3 rounds of the game, 11, 12 and 13, your reserve will be completely empty. So instead of taking the die from the reserve and bumping a die from the locked slot, you simply take the die from the locked slot and move it to the action pool. Then you can take the corresponding special action. When using the die from the first slot, you can choose any basic good you want. In the second step of your turn, you will move your wagon clockwise on this road in the city. There are 5 spaces on this road, the starting one, second, third, fourth and fifth. Each space is adjacent to 2 locations, and except for this first one, all other spaces are not only adjacent to 2 locations, but also to a building. So look at the value of your action die in the action pool, here it's 2, and move your wagon that many spaces clockwise. If you would have 2 dice in your action pool, the night die and also the illuminated die, you can choose the value of either of those dice, but only one of them. Don't add them together. So here I can either choose the value 2 or 4. Then after you finish the movement, you can use 1 and maximum 1 horseshoe from your inventory and move your wagon 1 space counterclockwise or clockwise. Then the third step is the activation step. In this step, you activate districts which are adjacent to your wagon pawn. There are 5 districts on the map. The Great Bazaar, which is over here, adjacent to these 2 spaces. Queen's Commissions, over here, adjacent to these 2 spaces, and so on and so forth. If you only have 1 die in your action pool, take that die and place it in one of those 2 districts which are adjacent to your wagon pawn. The value of the die doesn't matter, you now activate that district. If you have 2 dice in your action pool, you can take both of those dice, place them in both adjacent districts, and now you can activate both of those districts plus the building which is adjacent to your wagon pawn, and you can activate them in any order you want. Again, the value of those dice doesn't matter. I'm going to cover all the districts in the game in the next chapter of the video, and the effects of the buildings can be found in the rulebook. You can also see the benefits of those buildings from their icons. In this chapter of the video, I'll cover all the districts in the game and we'll start with the Great Bazaar. When you activate this district, first, as these icons indicate, you can do one, the other, or both of these actions in any order. And with this first one, you can rotate the market wheel 1 space clockwise. And with the second one, you can take any die from the wheel and change its face. So let's say I will take this die and change it to book. Each section can contain maximum 2 dice of the same face. Now after that, you can buy the goods from the market. Since there are 5 dice, you can buy maximum 5 goods, and for each good you have to pay the coins equal to the value of that good. However, if you buy 2 goods of the same type, the second one is for free. So if I would buy 1 potion and 2 books, I would only pay 1 plus 3, 4 coins. When you buy goods, you buy them with the basic side up, and then you place the goods in your inventory and pay the coins back to the general supply. Note that when you buy the goods, you set the market dice aside. When you activate the Queen's Commissions, you may take a top tile from any stack and place that commission to the left of your player board. When you take a new tile and all the 3 slots are already full, you must choose one of those tiles to be discarded. When you discard the commission tile, it goes to the bottom of the corresponding stack. Each commission tile shows 3 goods requested to complete that commission and also the location where they need to be delivered. When you activate the dark market, first you must move this dark market district marker at least 1 space, and for each space you have to pay 1 coin. You may move the marker as many spaces as you want, so even 4 spaces to move it back to the original space, for which you would pay 4 coins. Then you take the benefit from the section where that marker ends the movement. In these 3 sections, you simply take 2 goods, the basic goods of the types shown, and in this last section, you either take 1 commission or 1 deed card. When you gain a deed, you may choose one of those 2 cards, and when you do, you also gain the bonus next to that card, which is 2 prestige points immediately, or 1 basic good from the general supply and 1 horseshoe. When you don't like any of those deed cards which are face up, you can take the top card from the deck, which is face down, but you don't get any of the bonuses. Again, keep those deed cards hidden from other players. When you activate the Ringway Inn, you may sell goods to the heroes and convince them to join you. First, choose one of the heroes, let's say this one, and you must sell at least one of those goods to that hero. You may sell all 3 of them if you have, but you may only sell 1 good per 1 icon. So although we have 2 books, we can only sell 1 book to that hero. Then we can also sell this pistol. Those items will be returned to the general supply, but for each item, you gain coins equal to the current market value of those goods. That sale process is also described here with these icons. For each hero, you gain coins equal to the goods sold. Now, you gain 1 blazing quartz and 1 coin for each upgraded good you sell. That's in addition to the basic value of those goods. So let's say this pistol would be upgraded. It would be worth 1 additional coin and 1 blazing quartz. Quartz are stored in this inventory, which only has the size of 3 items. Then, after selling the goods, take that hero and place it in one of the hero slots above your wagon. Then take the bonus from this new hero. Again, if all these slots will be already occupied and you take the new hero, you have to discard one of those heroes, and if you discard the new one, you don't get that bonus. Similar to concessions, each hero also has a destination where that hero wants to get to. And finally, when you activate Yurg's Excursions, you have 2 options. You can either visit the Ruins of Yin, or you can perform the travel. When you decide to visit the Ruins of Yin, first, you must move the marker 1 space. Then you may move it 1 space per hero on your wagon. Since we have 2 heroes here, we may move it up to 2 additional spaces. So let's say we move it 1 additional space. Then gain the benefit of the space where that marker is located. For these 3 spaces, you always gain 1 upgraded good from those that are shown in that marker space. Here you get upgraded good of your choice. After that, you may spend a lantern from your wagon, which means you return the lantern to the general supply, and for that you may roll the ruins die and take the benefit from the die. You can find the explanation of all those icons in the rulebook. Instead of visiting the ruins, you may decide to do the travel and visit a town. If you do, you will lead the caravan to that town. The travel action has 4 steps. In the first step, you have to choose 1 companion. You can choose one of those face up or from the top of the deck. I will briefly talk about these companions at the end of this chapter. So let's say I take this one. When you take a companion, place it somewhere next to your wagon board. You can have any number of these companions. Then declare the route. You will either take the dark road or the shortcut. But when you take the shortcut, you have to pay 3 lanterns from your wagon. Then declare the destination. You may choose any of those 6 towns on the map. In our example, we will actually choose this north break. Now, each other player in a clockwise direction will declare whether they join the caravan or not. It's not mandatory. If they don't want to join, they don't have to. These pieces don't come with the game, I only use them to demonstrate the process. Now, for each traveler who joins the caravan, including you, take 1 travel die. If you would take the companion with the travel die on it, you would add this travel die as well. For the sake of explanation, let's say the active player chose the shortcut path. We have 3 travelers in our caravan, and the active player would choose this companion, which gives him another travel die. Then in the second step we have to resolve an event from the chosen path. So reveal the top card of the corresponding deck, then take all the travel dice in the pool, roll them and place them next to the event card. Now each traveler must choose one of those dice, and the order in which those travelers choose the dice depends on the chosen path. If the active player would choose the dark road, the symbols on the card indicate that active player would choose the die first and then all other players in a clockwise direction. Since in our example we have the shortcut path, it also takes place in a clockwise direction. However, the active player chooses the die as the last player. So we will start with the red player, then orange, and then back to white. After you choose a die, based on the value of the die, you either take the benefit or you have to pay the cost, based on these icons on the event card. Then return the die to the general supply. Before the traveler chooses a die, that traveler may spend a lantern from their wagon and re-roll all the remaining dice in the pool. You may only do this once. Then you have to choose a die and take the benefit or pay the cost. Once all players are done, return all the remaining dice back to the general supply and proceed to the next step. In the next step, travelers visit the town. The leading player may only visit the declared destination. In our example, it was the North Break. All other travelers may visit the same town or the other town in the same region. There are 3 regions on the map, regions with these blue towns, with the green towns and the purple towns. There is also another option. If you don't want to visit any of those cities, you may simply pass. Then the following may be done simultaneously by all players. You will deliver commissions and heroes to your destination. To deliver a commission, the commission must match the destination, and you must deliver at least 1 goods shown on that commission tile. As shown on the game board, you gain 1, 3 or 6 prestige points for 1, 2 or 3 delivered goods on that commission tile. So let's say the white player wants to deliver the weapon and this book. Those are 2 goods, 3 prestige points. However, for each upgraded good you deliver, you gain 1 additional prestige point. Return the delivered goods to the general supply and place the commission tile face down next to your wagon. Note that if you would have more than 1 commission that you can deliver to the same city and you would have the requested goods, you may deliver more than 1 commission during 1 travel action. After that, you may deliver heroes to their destination. If you do, place your hero behind your player screen or somewhere next to your player board. And for each delivered hero, gain the benefit of that region. Here you would gain 2 coins per delivered hero. All other players deliver their commissions and heroes to their destinations. Finally, in the 4th step, only the active player who led the caravan will gain fortunes. If you chose the dark road, you only choose 1 fortune, which is also indicated on the event cards of the dark road with this icon. If you choose the shortcut path, you choose 2 fortunes. In that case, you may even choose the same 2 fortunes. Now you have 4 options here. First one is to gain the illuminated die. With that, you take the illuminated die from the general supply, roll the die and add it to your special reserve. This special reserve can contain maximum 2 illuminated dice. The second option is to gain one of the deed cards from the display, even with the bonus. The third one gives you 3 coins, and if you are the first person to take this benefit, you also take these 5 coins as a bonus. And the fourth option is to take one of the available wagon upgrades. You may only take an upgrade if you don't already have one on your wagon. And again, you can find a description of all those upgrades in the rulebook. So that's the end of the travel, and note that the wagon pawns of other players don't change their position during the journey. They don't have to be adjacent to the Yurg's excursions to join the caravan. And another tip, players may join the caravan even if they don't have any commission or any heroes to the destination. Based on the chosen path, they may simply join the caravan to take one of the bonuses from the event card. As I already mentioned, I will now briefly talk about these companions. There are 2 types of companions. These are loyal companions, these are stray companions. You can trigger the effects and abilities of those companions at any time on your turn. And to trigger these effects on loyal companions, you have to spend the blazing quartz. You place it on the chosen effect, carry out the effect, and the quartz remains in that space for the rest of the game, which means you may not take that effect again. If you gain another quartz, you may obviously trigger another effect. However, if you pay the cost here and trigger the effect on the stray companions, once triggered, that companion moves to the player on your left. The 4th step of your turn is the rest step, it's the upkeep phase. First, you retrieve your dice from the game board. Your knight die is placed next to your player board. However, the illuminated die is always returned back to the general supply. If there are empty spaces in the companion's display, slide the cards to the right and draw the new card face up. The event card is placed at the bottom of the corresponding deck. And always make sure that the card which is farthest away from the deck has a treble die on it. If any market dice were set aside during the turn, take them, re-roll them, and place them in the respective sections on the market wheel. In case you would have more than 2 dice in the same section, let's say like this, take the die or dice that are in excess of 2 and continue re-rolling until you have maximum 2 dice in each section. If needed, refill the display of deed cards and also the hero cards. Then at the end of round 4, you will have 4 dice next to your player board and no die in your reserve. In that case, take one of those dice that are next to your player board and remove it from the game. Then take the remaining dice and re-roll them and place them back in your reserve. Then at the end of round 7, again, your reserve will be empty and repeat the process. Remove one of the dice and re-roll the 2 remaining dice, place them back into your reserve. Then at the end of round 9, again, remove one of the dice and you will only have 1 die in your reserve. And at the end of round 10, your reserve will be empty. You will only have 1 die next to your player board, which is removed from the game. That means your reserve will remain empty and you will have the last 3 rounds of the game, round 11, 12 and 13. Once you take actions with those dice, the game will be over. At the end of round 13, the game will be over, and now each player will have a chance to visit one more town, but all you can do is to deliver commissions and heroes to that town. Nothing else happens. There's no caravan, no path. You only score prestige points for delivering your commissions, and you gain the region benefits for delivering the heroes. Then proceed to final scoring. First, reveal any of your deeds that give you coins or prestige points, and then count up all your coins in your reserve and all your prestige points. Then take the lower value of those two, so here we have 18 prestige points, but here 21 coins, which means the base value for your score is the lower value, 18 prestige points. That's indicated on your player screen as well. Take the lower value of your coins and prestige points. Then add any victory points, which may also come from the deed cards, and also each illuminated die in your reserve counts as 1 victory point, and then the sum is your total, and the player with the highest total score is the winner. So that's how you play Merchants of the Dark Road. If you would have any questions or comments, I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. If you like the series, please subscribe. You can even support the channel on the Patreon page. My name is Branislav Berec. You've been watching Game in a Nutshell and hope to see you next time. I would like to thank everyone who has ever supported the channel, and especially the current supporters listed on this page. If you too would like to support the channel in creation of videos like this and other video tutorials and other content on this channel, please visit the patreon.com/Nithrania.